Hello, everyone. Let's begin our meeting for today. We'd like to begin our meeting in song. The song that we'd like to sing today, Stay Awake, Stand Firm, and Grow Mighty. If you guys can find that in your song books, we'll go ahead and start our meeting with song. Stay erect, grip firm, stroke mighty is the method that is right. Carry on as men undaunted, because the climax is in sight. Let us join with all the Bethelites on the Bethel linen. We shall not. Stay awake, grip firm, stroke mighty is the method that is right. All right, very fine, very fine. Again, we'd like to talk about Tony Morris, and after all his years on the governing body, he's going to get to see what it's like to be shunned. We all know. People keep on asking if Anthony or Tony Morris, Tight Pants Tony, if he was disfellowshipped, right? People keep asking that. They're looking to find out if he was disfellowshipped. We all know you don't have to be disfellowshipped from Jehovah's cult or Jehovah's Witnesses to get shunned. People get shunned all the time that are not disfellowshipped, that haven't necessarily done anything wrong. So if Tony Morris, we know this cult, if Tony Morris is announced at Bethel that he is no longer a member of the governing body, and an announcement is made all over jw.cult that Tony Morris is no longer a member of the governing body, Jehovah's Witnesses are the most shun-happy cult in the world. In the world, they are shun-happy, right? Just by default, they'll just shun you. So Tony Morris can look forward to walking down the aisle in the liquor store, and any Jehovah's Witness that sees him, they're going to walk the other way. They're going to go to the other aisle, because that's just how it is. When I got back from Bethel, it took me a while to get myself organized. I had to find a job. I had to do all kinds of things. And people that didn't see me at the meeting, all they knew is Marcus went to Bethel. He came back. I didn't see him at the meeting. And then they saw me at the grocery store. Well, that's when you get people that see you and then they jerk their head away to act like they didn't see you and try to walk the other way or through another aisle just by default, right? I'm not talking about after videos. This was years before I even started doing videos. This is probably before I was even fully awake. So if I can come from Bethel, and if a Jehovah Witness don't just immediately see me at the hall because I got to work, you know what I mean? I done found a job and now I have to work since Bethel's just putting people out because they're selling buildings and making money. Well, what do you think they're going to do to Tony Tight Pants? Because that's been announced. When I was told to leave Bethel, that wasn't announced. Tony Tight Pants has been announced, and Tony has got sons at Bethel, right? And his bald-headed sons are not going to want to be around their alcoholic father anymore. allegedly, that Toni Morris's bald-headed sons are not going to want to be around and seen with somebody who was just let go from the governing body, because there ain't going to be another Morris. Like all his sons, there ain't going to be another Morris in the governing body. Most likely, they ain't letting none of them back in. So it's a good chance his sons are angry with him, on top of the fact that just being seen with, right, someone that's been announced, that makes you look bad to other Jehovah's Witnesses. Like they're just so judgmental. Jehovah's Witnesses are so judgmental, and it doesn't even make sense, right? Because my stepdad growing up was a Jehovah's Witness, and he has that same Jehovah's Witness judgmental mindset, where he didn't go to his own blood daughter's wedding. Now, we all know Jehovah's Witnesses say, well, you're supposed to get married before sex. So if a person's getting married, you're doing technically what these people want you to do. Most Christians want you to get married before sex. So I remember my older sister, she was getting married. Great, wonderful, great thing. She wants to get married at her church. And my stepdad, I think, wanted her to get married at his church. And he decided not to go to his own daughter's wedding, to snub his own daughter at her wedding, because he felt like she wasn't doing everything just right. But my stepdad is on his third wife, right? So how in the world is he going to judge someone else when my stepdad is on like his third wife? He done been through multiple divorces. I have, as a young kid growing all the way up, seen him flirting with other women. While he was an elder, I'd walk into the house and he'd be sitting at a table with somebody else's wife. It's just him and the other person's wife, just them two in the house while I was outside playing. Like, I just grew up with this guy doing stuff he ought not do. And yet he's judging everybody else, right? You on your third wife, you did all kinds of stuff. And this is what Jehovah's Witnesses do. So Toni Morris, even though he was a member of the governing body, and you're going to have freaking publishers that ain't never auxiliary pioneered or done anything, they're probably going to look down on Toni Morris. Your average Jehovah's Witness is going to look down on Toni Morris because he got put out of the governing body. And now, tight pants Tony, you have to deal with the entire stigma that y'all put, the organization that you were helping and control. You have to deal with the view that Jehovah's Witnesses have that Bethel is perfect. So Bethel is perfect according to the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses, meaning Toni Morris must have done something wrong. It couldn't have been anything else going on. If a person is a member of the governing body and they live at Bethel, and Bethel is a paradise, spiritual paradise, it's perfect up there, or the closest thing that you can get to perfection. That's where God's Spirit resides, at Bethel. And you get all these meals and all these things provided, all your room and board paid for, and all this stuff. You just in this wonderful Bethel assignment paradise. Well, if you manage to somehow do something to get yourself put off the governing body, the way every Jehovah's Witness on the planet is going to look at this is that Toni Morris must have done something wrong. Even if he just his conscience finally got to him. As doing, he's leading a cult and he's teaching people things that he's wrong. Even if that were the case, everybody's going to turn on Tony, right? Now, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be amazing. That the man who would get up on these broadcasts and prepare to open his mouth and say the most negative things about people who used to be in the Watchtower organization, but now they're not in the Watchtower organization. Well, now the beautiful karma is we got somebody that used to be a member of the governing body, and now he's not a member of the governing body, and you get to wear the dunce hat. The dunce hat that you like to try to put on everybody else. Now, tight pants Tony, you get to wear the dunce hat. Let's put it on Tony's bald head, because Tony has got hair here and he's got hair here last time I checked, but he ain't got no hair here. So we need to put the dunce hat on to keep all this warm. See, you need to make one for your sons. Last time I checked, I saw a picture of his kids and they looked like they were like 24 and they're all bald. They have hair here and hair here, but there's an island that is barren all here, right? So obviously that all that drinking all that alcohol has had a negative effect on Tony's reproductive system, because if he has kids, they're all bald. Thank Jehovah he hadn't had any daughters, because if he had daughters, his daughters would be bald, right? I think he was probably, when he's having kids, he's probably drunk off his arse when he was having kids, having sexual relations with his wife, and, his semens were drunk, bumping into each other all over the place, and his, it's just a birth defect. So his kids have got a birth defect where they're all bald, just like he is. And yeah, they're not going to be able to be a member of the governing body anymore, Tony, because you look bad. It is what it is. You just look bad to everybody in the entire organization. I'm talking about people up in these countries, these poor countries, where they can't even build a proper kingdom hall. Like, they just have a freaking hut, right, with straw. I don't care if you're talking about some country in Africa where they just got a hut and straw thrown on top of the roof to make a kingdom hall. They're going to look down on you there also. Because I heard a rumor, he's just going to go and pioneer somewhere. Where are you going to pioneer where people look at you in a positive light? Nowhere. Nobody gonna want to be around somebody who used to be a member of the governing body, and now he's no longer a member of the governing body, because Jehovah's Witnesses, the way they look at it, is that somebody used to be a part of the organization, and then they're not anymore. Oh, they are the devil, right? So Tony Morris gets to wear that, and I get to enjoy every bit of the most loudmouth, bald-headed governing body member getting the exact same that he dished out. If you can't take it, don't dish it, Tony. And also, too, everything is alleged. Everything is alleged. All this stuff is alleged that it could have been pornography that may have gotten tight pants thrown out, because you have to understand that people oftentimes, they talk about things that are a real psychological issue with them. The things that they talk about oftentimes are things that they feel strongly about. For example, Samuel Hurd was talking about women and their brains being smaller, right? So there's a good chance that Samuel Turd has got some kind of an issue with women. You don't just hop up on stage and say, "Oh, well, women, their brains are smaller," just out of nowhere, right? You have no preconceived notions about this. There's no motive. You just said it just to say it. That don't happen. He got up on stage or wherever he was and was talking about women having smaller brains because he has got some issues with women. He feels a certain way about women. So the motive was from the deep recesses of his heart, right? So we know Tony is the same, most likely, as Samuel Hurd, that he's got views that come from the deepest recesses of his heart. When he talks about tight pants, he didn't just hop up on stage and start talking about tight pants. When he started talking about tight pants, this is probably something that he has an issue with. Something he personally has an issue with, right? Because he was saying, if I remember correctly, you guys comment down below and correct me if I'm wrong, but allegedly he was saying that it's society trying to turn guys gay by having them wear tight pants. Now, one reason Tony might be thinking this is because he might be getting a hard on when he sees a guy in tight pants. There's a very strong chance that the reason why Tony got up there and was saying all of those things is because of personal experience. That he sees people with tight pants, particularly men, and tight pants, and he gets a hard on. His wee gets strong and starts pushing forward. And then he gets up there and gives a talk about it, saying, yeah, society's trying to turn everybody gay by having them wear tight pants. There ain't a pair of pants tight enough that's going to, I'm heterosexual. There's no such thing as a pair of pants tight enough to make me turn gay, right? That's something that Tony must have been dealing with in the deep recesses of his heart, right? So just like in the spirit of the song that we sang today, when Tony would stay erect, grip firm, and stroke mighty when he would see a brother in tight pants, there's a good chance that this is the scenario that plays off in my mind. That he was stroking mighty because he saw some brothers in tight pants, and it caused him to become erect. And his wife probably walked in on him, right? She goes off on him, and he says, it's not me, it's the world, it's the system. The system is making me do all this because all these tight pants are making people turn gay. So then to appease his wife, he has to get up on the stage and give this whole talk to make it look like to her that he's fighting against his urges. So he gives a whole talk about tight pants, right? Normal people do not do that. You don't just walk up on stage and start talking about tight pants. So I don't think that that's what happened. I don't think he just got up there and just started talking about it. I think he got up there and started talking about it because, guys in tight pants make Tony erect. and the realization that he may be homosexual, I think might be driving some of the alcoholism. That might be why he's always at the liquor store down in all these bottles of JMO, is to drown the knowledge that he's, you know what I mean, he's homosexual or bi or something like that, right? He has fantasies of brothers in tight pants rubbing erect penises on the bald recesses of his head, right? And I think that is the reason for the talk, the tight pants talk, right? Just like Stephen Letters got some issue with babies when he thinks babies are the enemies of God. Who knows? When he sees diapers, per se, you know, when he sees diapers, he may become erect. Or when he sees Sam Hurd's diaper, he might become erect. And that might be why you don't oftentimes see Stephen Lett and Sam Hurd on the same broadcast. Because if you put them on the same broadcast, Stephen Lett is going to have all those climax faces happen 100 times more than usual, because he'll be looking at Samuel Hurd's diaper bulge. You know, when you wear diapers over top, underneath pants, there's this big pamper bulge, a big pamper bulk. And I think, you know, allegedly that Stephen Lett gets erect from the pamper bulk, the bulk of the pamper. When Sam Hurd walks around and, you know, you see all that bulk pamper shaking, I think that it makes him. So I think there's a reason why Sam Hurd talks about women's brains. He has an issue, a prejudice against women, right? And then Stephen Lett gets up and gives a talk about tight pants and guys wearing tight pants because he gets erect to tight pants. And his wife has had enough of it, so he had to give a talk. So you guys let me know what you think about all of this. And comment down below. You guys did a fine job singing our kingdom melody. And just, you know, to emphasize the point, we will end our meeting with the same song. I want to hear everybody singing from the back of the congregation back there all the way to the front, right? We want to hear you sing loud. On 3, let's prepare to sing. 1, 2, 3. Stay erect, grip firm, stroke mighty is the method that is right. Carry on as men undaunted, because the climax is in sight. Let us join with all the Bethelites on the Bethel linen, we shall not. Stay erect, grip firm, stroke mighty is the method that is right. X-Wall Kill Bethelite signing out.